Hello and welcome to the Comics Connection. This is Connor.
And this is Quinn.
We are brother and sister who are comic book fans, and I'm more of a Marvel guy, and Quinn is more of a DC gal.
Mm-hmm.
I am more of a. I started comics in about 2015, around the Bendis New X-Men era, um, and then I jumped back in with Krakoa, and
Okay, I was totally all in until you said I started with this era, and I have no fucking clue.
You started with New 52.
Well, I did. I read like okay.
Well,
so I started with so I was in during New 52, and I was just kind of reading anything I could get my little grubby hands on at the time. I was reading Valiant, Dark Horse, Image, DC, a little bit of Marvel, a lot of DC. And then, when Rebirth happened, I started reading. I started from the beginning, and I spent probably about $1 million a month on comic books because I was like, give me every single number one issue of Rebirth. I want every single number one, even the shitty ones. And I did that for a really long time.
Okay.
And then I was like, I can't be in the poorhouse anymore. I'm going to move out and have I was going to say have a family, but I only have a husband.
You have 3 dogs.
You do have 3 dogs.
Those are your children.
You do have 3 needy dogs who love me and need me to not spend every single dime on comic books. But with this podcast, I might go back to spending every dime on comic books.
Or if DC and Marvel want to get their act together and give us free comics to review.
Yeah. First episode, guys,
I'm calling
it. Get it.
I'm calling it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. All right. So today,
Comic Daddy, give me money.
Give me money, Comic Daddy.
Give me comic books, Comic Daddy, please.
So today we are doing a little author preview and review of some comics that are being written that were written by current and upcoming authors of the new X-Men titles. We are covering the Variants by Gail Simone and Rogue and Gambit by Stephanie Phillips. I will be giving a synopsis of the Variants, and Quinn will be giving a synopsis of Rogue and Gambit. We'll kind of just vamp off of that and give our reviews.
Can you give us an explanation of why you chose these 2?
Yeah, so I chose these 2 because Stephanie Phillips is going to be writing in the new... Stephanie Phillips and Gail Simone are going to be writing X-Men comics in the new From the Ashes X-Men series. Stephanie Phillips will be writing Phoenix, which is going to be about Phoenix going through the cosmos with the help of Nova. And I'm not really sure on more details about it. And then Gail Simone is writing Uncanny X-Men, and that is Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee in New Orleans.
Which sounds incredible. I'm very excited for that one.
Quinn is a big Rogue and Gambit head.
I'm a very Rogue and Gambit fan. Ever since I was a child, I was like, that's the kind of dysfunctional relationship I want. It's still pretty good sometimes. Every superhero relationship is dysfunctional, and we will get into it. Okay. How do you want to start? Variants or Rogue?
I'll start with the Variants.
Wonderful. I'm excited to hear about it, because this one I did not read.
Good, because this one's a mystery novel, and it's very confusing.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to tell me.
I'm going to have to...
Okay. And our audience who might not have read it.
Yes.
So we better work this and make it good and understandable.
Okay. So we start issue 1 with... Oh, wait. Actually, let me start with the credits. It is written by Gail Simone, art and colors by Phil Noto, covers by Phil Noto, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. Issue 1 starts out with Jessica Jones walking around through town. It kind of jumps back and forth to different things. one part is she's staring at a coffee shop, and the second part is she goes into a beauty store and is looking at makeup and is getting different color recommendations from the makeup lady because she is getting married to Luke Cage soon. And for those that don't know, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have been together for a long time in the Marvel Universe, and they have a child together named Danny. Their daughter Danny.
Like, excuse, I'm so glad that when you were
It's
like,
Danny
their
with
child,
an I,
Danny.
and she's named after Iron Fist.
That's so freaking cute. You're like, the child Danny, I was like, oh, like a little brown-haired boy, and then you're like, their little girl. You almost just breezed right through that, and I'm so glad that you gave me that info.
So she starts feeling dizzy and is having migraines. And Daredevil shows up, and he can tell something is wrong, and he asks her to go to court with him for a woman that he is being the lawyer for. And the reason that he wants her there is because uh, his, I don't know the word for it, plaintiff? Lawyer baby? His lawyer baby, the person that he's lawyering for is this woman who was a victim of the Purple Man. And
the defendant, sir?
Defendant. Would it be the defendant? Baby? Would that be defendant?
Are we both idiots?
I think we're both idiots because defendant and prosecution. The woman who's on trial. There it is. So
lawyer baby.
Yeah.
It's a lawyer baby. Okay.
So
go on. I think her name was Maria, right?
Yes, Maria.
Okay. I did read one page.
Yeah, Quinn read about 5 pages and then took a nap. So, yeah, we'll call her Maria. Maria is is the Purple Man's first victim. The Purple Man is a pheromone manipulator who, pretty sure it's pheromones. He can control you and tell you what to do, and make you do things.
So it's like mind control, but there's like a different element.
It's very rapey.
Yeah.
He can tell you, like, he can make you do stuff.
Okay.
And
it's a mind control situation, or it's not a mind control situation?
I'm pretty sure he controls you via pheromones, so you're like so really weird. Into it.
Huh.
So
comics are weird.
In the comics, he controlled Jessica Jones for a while.
This is one thing that we'll just really put home in this comics podcast as two people who love comics. Comics are very stupid.
Yes. Comics can be very insane and dumb.
And that's part of the best reason.
That's part of the charm.
That's why they're perfect.
Yes.
That's why you spend $1 million on them every month.
So Maria killed her family in a fire. And she is on trial for that.
Girl boss behavior.
And really. She immediately blames the Purple Man. And the judge is like, isn't the Purple Man dead? And Jessica says the Purple Man is in a permanent coma, but to the world he's dead. And so the trial is over. The day is over. And Daredevil is like, she wants to talk to you. Maria wants to talk to you. And so Jessica goes and talks to Maria. And Maria is like, Purple Man made me do it. It's been 10 years since he first met me, and he laid a trap in my mind to make me do this. And she's like, you're next.
You got mind trapped.
Yes, you got mind trapped. And so it's been 10 years to the day, and she warns Jessica that her family is in danger if the same thing happens to Jessica. Jessica is pissed at Daredevil because he knew what was going on and used client confidentiality to tell her. It was like, I'll let Maria do it. And so she goes back home. Luke Cage and her daughter are not home. And in her home is a strange woman. And she she sees her, and it's another Jessica Jones. And Jessica is more of a punch first, ask questions later kind of woman, and she starts fighting the other Jessica Jones.
Which is all superheroes.
Yes.
Every single issue in Marvel Comics, or probably any comics really, can be fixed with like just a conversation, and they never will do it. And there's a scene like that in Rogue Gambit as well that we'll get into, because any superhero that has any beef with anybody, even their friends and family, they're like, oh, I must punch them in the head before I do anything else.
Yes. And while they're fighting...
Every superhero is a conservative. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Well, we're already getting political in the first episode.
No, that's not political. This is a joke. I mean not anything that I say.
As a Southern Christian woman myself. So they're fighting, and all of a sudden Captain America's shield hits him in the head, and it's none other than Captain America Jessica Jones. It's a third Jessica Jones, and that's the end of the first issue. And so after a flashback between, in the second issue, after a flashback between Tigra and Jessica, it's just a short little flashback where Tigra is trying to get Jessica Jones to join the A-Force, which is an Avengers-esque team that's all women. And one thing that happens right here is out of nowhere, Tigra and Jessica smooch, just like a little friendly kiss, a little friendly peck on the mouth.
It's kissing the homies goodnight. They're just kissing the homies.
And then we cut back.
It's not gay if you're kissing the homies.
We cut back, and sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. I have terrible handwriting. Jessica, Captain America, and other Jessica Jones flee. And Jessica Jones, the main Jessica Jones.
This was an insane book.
They give them nicknames later on.
Okay.
So it's going to be easier once we get to that part. But we find out that Maria has killed herself in prison.
Okay.
With a note that just says, Happy Anniversary.
That's the worst present I've ever gotten for an anniversary. And my ex-boyfriend got me nothing.
And so Jessica's worried for her daughter and Luke. And so she tells Luke to take her daughter and go far away. Don't tell her where they are. Don't tell her where they're going. And he doesn't. He asks her questions. He's like, sure, honey. Okay. And Jessica calls Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, for help. To make sure that she can keep her in check. And all of a sudden, while they're hanging out, they hear a loud crash from their daughter's room. And in the room is another Jessica Jones.
This is Jessica Jones before.
And also, every time we meet a variant, Jessica gets a migraine.
Oh.
So she gets a migraine, and then she hears a loud crash, and there's a third Jessica Jones, a third variant Jessica in her daughter's room. And this Jessica looks like Jessica Jones in her original superhero costume, Jewel. So we're going to call this Jessica Jewel. She has purple hair, a white leotard.
So far we have Jessica 1.
We have Jessica 1, Jessica 2 that just looks like Jessica Jones, Captain America Jessica Jones, and then Jewel.
Jewel, got it. I'm following.
And then we cut to Jessica Jones on the rooftop with Daredevil, and Jessica's like, oh my god, it is you. And she makes out with Daredevil. And
Jewel does.
No. It just looks like Jessica Jones. We find out later that it's Jessica 2.
Okay. But he thinks it's just
he thinks it's normal Jessica Jones because they look exactly the same.
Right.
One's wearing a white shirt with a leather jacket, and one's wearing a gray shirt with a leather jacket.
Right.
And he's like, this is more of a romantic kiss than a buddy kiss. Which is like, so Jessica just kisses all of her friends all the time.
They apparently, okay, Jessica is a stand for kissing the homies goodnight. Like, she's loving to kiss the homies. What's the problem?
So, Jessica talks to Jewel and She-Hulk after another migraine and deduces that her migraines are from
creating variants.
From when variants are coming into the reality. And she's had 4 migraines and has only ran into 3 Jessica so far. So,
so there's a 5th Jessica.
Yes, there's a 5th Jessica running around.
Okay.
And, she mentions a purple man to Jewel, and Jewel's like, who the fuck is that?
Oh.
And Jessica's like, I want to protect this little precious child who has not had to deal with the assault that I've had to deal with.
That's really, okay, I really like that kind of PTSD trauma, going into that, where they're like, this is baby me, and baby me deserves to not have to deal with all this.
So next, Jessica calls Daredevil and Iron Fist and has both of them track down the other 2 Jessicas. Iron Fist finds Captain America Jessica, and Daredevil finds Jessica too. And they all go to a coffee shop together.
Of course she finds Jessica too. They were making out.
And he's like, what the fuck, you're married? Yeah.
He's like, oh, Jessica too, I knew the whole time this was a very Jessica, and I wasn't just making out with my friend.
So...
I knew it wasn't a normal Jessica kiss, because we all do that.
So, they all get to talking, and all of them come to the realization that, the loves of their lives, like their husbands, were all killed by villains. And Jessica's like, so this horrible thing happened to the Purple Man, but at least I have Luke. And...
she's like, fuck the rest of you guys. I have a husband.
And then, Jessica is talking with the other 3 Jessicas, and a waitress stops by and gives main Jessica the bill, and the bill says, "Do not trust them." And this one's a really good mystery. It's really fun, and this is where Connor's stupid. So we cut to
stupid? No.
we cut to Luke Cage. Luke Cage knows about the variants. He's heard of Jessica 2 and Captain America Jessica.
Okay.
And so he's hiding out with Colleen Wing and Misty Knight.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm going to go to the lobby of the hotel we're in. He gets in the elevator, and an old lady hops on, and then a man hops on. And the man is staring down Luke Cage. And Luke Cage is like, we're gonna fight.
I just want to say, look, I'm so sorry for this background noise. My dog's...
Yeah, we do have a bunch of dogs here. They're gonna bark. So if there's dog barking, we apologize. So Luke's like, all right, well, let's let this old lady get out of the elevator, and then we'll fucking fight. And they fight, and they fight, and they fight. And Luke is like, is your name Jeremy? And the man's like, it's Jesse. And me, being dumb, I didn't realize this was a male variant of Jessica Jones.
Okay, yeah, I do feel like the second that they're
he looks exactly like Jessica Jones.
And his name is Jesse.
And so Luke fucking kills Jesse. He...
Again, with the fist first, ask later.
He jumps out of a building and is like, I'm bulletproof, bitch. Jumps off a building and uses Jesse as a landing pad. And Jesse's like, well, in my universe, we were friends. And then he dies.
Oh my god!
And that's kind of where the issue ends.
That's
and then,
honestly so rude of Luke Cage to just be like,
he
I
felt
don't know
really
this
bad
man.
about it. He felt really bad about it.
And it's great. I don't know this man. I don't know anything that's happening. I'm going to punch him a bunch of times, and then I'm going to do something that results in his death.
To be fair, Jesse started it.
Your Honor, he felt really bad.
And then, in issue 4, we have finally the names of all the Jessicas. We have Cap Jessica, Omega Jessica, which is our Jessica.
It was really nice to let her be Omega Jessica.
Prime. Oh wait, no. Omega Jessica is Jessica 2.
Okay.
And Prime Jessica is our Jessica.
Got it.
And then we have Jewel. And then
we have Jessie, R.I.P.
Yes. And Omega Jessica is like, hey, let me see a picture of your family. And she whips it out, and Prime Jessica immediately stabs it. and that makes Jessica freak out that she's already has a kill switch to kill her family. So she panics, and she goes to the restroom to calm down, where another Jessica's waiting for her. And immediately she just starts kicking this Jessica's ass. And this new Jessica, which is Nitrous. Yeah, Nitrous. Yeah, Nitrous. Who is like, bitch. Hey, what the fuck? And then she reveals that she is the one that was dressed up as the waitress and left the note not to trust the other Jessicas. Then Nitrous and the new Jessica, or Prime Jessica, come out, and they're all talking, and they're like, you know what, let's do a seance and get the Purple Man out of this Jessica.
Oh, that's fun. So they're like, exorcism time.
Yes, they're doing a seance.
Exorcism with the girls.
And Jewel is like, here, I got you a pillow, just lay down, get comfy, and
little baby Jessica,
we'll try to get this.
Right.
And so Purple Man goes and has a meeting with Jessica in her mind, and he throws like, I chose you because you're strong, and you're gonna kill your family, ha 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 ha. And she's like, well, guess what? I'm not the only one here. And Charles Xavier shows up, and Charles helps Jessica reveal that this isn't the real Purple Man. It is just a psychic imprint of the Purple Man in her head, and the Purple Man is basically just her feelings of what happened to herself manifested by this time bomb that he put in her.
So the real enemy is trauma.
Yes. And that. Charles being Charles is like, the only way you can get rid of him is to forgive him and to forgive yourself. And Jessica's like, fuck that bullshit, and punches Purple Man right through the head.
Incredible.
And that gets rid of Purple Man.
Of course it does. Fuck Charles Xavier for doing that shit.
So then she wakes
Charles
up.
Charles Xavier is one of the most smug fucking assholes.
I hate Charles. He's going through.
We're getting some very, like, strong stances on the X.
At the end of the Krakoa era, they're going through a real renaissance of making you hate Charles, which is fun. I love that for him.
Okay, but it's like making you like only right now, starting now, and not at any time other than now before.
To be fair, there are a lot of crazy comics where they try to make Charles a bad guy, but they're doing a great job.
He's kind of just like, well, even when he's not a bad guy, he's kind of just like, I'm Charles Xavier. I'm the best thing that ever happened to sliced bread. I'm so cool and fun. And, let's not be mean to anybody. Let's not hurt anyone or do anything, even when they're hurting us to being horrible. The best way to make change is by doing the bare minimum, or making us seem like, I want to make sure that the people who are racist and bigots know that we're one of the good ones. Like, okay, Charles, shut the fuck up.
So Jessica wakes up, and Jewel's like, great, now we can go see Danny and Luke. And Jessica kind of has a realization that Jessica Omega and Cap Jessica snuck into the house. And Jewel busted in through the house. And Jessica did not tell Jewel her daughter's name. And Jewel knew it. And Jessica goes, "You're here for my daughter, aren't you?" And Jewel's like, "Hey, you got me." And the variants assemble and start fighting Jewel. And that's the end.
We love baby Jessica and she's bad.
Yes.
They got me. I would have been like, you could have her. I'm sorry.
So, issue 5 starts out with all, and the end of issue 4 starts with ends with Jessica getting a huge migraine. And all of a sudden, a bunch of variant Jessicas are standing behind Jewel, and the 3 Jessicas, Prime, Cap, and Nitrous, are all on our Jessica's side, and the new Jessicas are on Jewel's side. And then issue 5 starts with all the Jessicas about to battle, and Prime Jessica's like, "Hell nah, why what are you doing? Why do you want to do this?" And
they talked it out for the first time. A superhero took a deep fucking breath, and we're like, actually, let's just try to talk this out, and maybe we don't have to fucking all kill each other.
And then this is where Jewel goes into her backstory, where on her Earth, she got her powers at about 16. And she calls him her boyfriend, but she has a picture of Cyclops on her wall. And she's like, "I loved Cyclops. And when he started dating that whore Jean Grey, I got mad." So she went to Xavier's mansion and killed all the X-Men.
The X-Men, okay, they can't catch a goddamn break. Now on this Earth, they're constantly dying on every single Earth, every single one of them. And you know what? If I was an X-Men on this planet, I would be like, really? Again? And this time because fucking Scott, who again isn't even that fucking cool, I would be mad. I would be like, when I saw Scott in Heaven, and there's all the millions of variants of the X-Men who are constantly dying, I think punch him in the face. This is the one time that you're allowed to punch somebody in the face in this world. That would make me really mad.
So, then she reveals that her powers are more like Rogue's, where she can drain your life force and kill you. And so she ends up killing her Doctor Strange, stealing his powers and his mystical Eye of Agamotto and stuff.
And while they're going through this, all the other Jessicas behind her are like, "Ooh, maybe we chose the wrong Jessica. And maybe we should go to the other Jessica's side. Maybe this one's evil."
So then you find out that she's been going around and killing that she's the reason that all the other Jessica's husbands or partners or whatever are dead.
She's going around to other worlds
and taking husbands, and when they don't want her, she kills them. And she basically tells Jessica...
all the other Jessicas are like, "We're good with this."
So she basically tells Jessica that I'm going to slowly drain Luke until he's dead. And...
I don't know, maybe if they had like a male Jessica Jones that wasn't dead from Luke, maybe he could have helped them. Maybe somebody wasn't so punchy. Maybe they'd have an alive Jessica Jones male who could have helped.
So, the 3 Jessicas that are helping are fighting the other Jessicas. Are helping fight the other Jessicas. And we actually get some really fun variants. We get Revision, who looks like Vision. Jessica 2099, who's like a cyborg lady. Ultra Jess, who looks like kind of looks like Omni-Man. Like from Invincible.
From Invincible? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Then we got Alias Jesse James, who's like a cowboy. Right. Then we got Morning Blush, who is like Elektra. Then Sigil, who's like an Asgardian. And Power Woman, who is just Luke Cage, but Jessica Jones. Okay. And they're all fighting. And they kind of come to the realization that the only reason that these variants are fighting with Jewel is so that she doesn't kill their loved ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great.
And so,
which, again, if they just went on the good Jessica Jones side and they just kill the bad Jessica Jones, then there's no threat.
Yes.
Maybe if some of these Jessica Jones can rub a brain cell together, they'll experience thought.
At one point, one of the Jessicas, I think it's Sigil, is like, some of us don't have homes to go back to. Like,
so I gotta destroy yours?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And so then Jewel starts draining the shit out of Jessica.
It's so easy to become a bad guy in comic books.
Yes.
In comic books.
So Jewel starts draining the shit out of Jessica Jones. And all of a sudden, Luke Cage shows up and starts beating the shit out of Jewel. And then they start all beating the shit out of Jewel. And then soon all the Jessicas are beating the shit out of Jewel.
Oh, okay. Now they're like, oh, actually.
Then it's revealed that one of the reasons why Jessica only had 4 migraines and there were 5 Jessicas is because nitrous wasn't part of Jewel's plan at all.
Which one was nitrous?
Nitrous is the kind of Batwoman looking one.
Okay.
You find out that Jewel killed her husband, and she's been getting the help of Dr. Wanda Strange to travel through different dimensions to find out who did it. She knew it was a variant of Jessica. She didn't know which one it was. So she's been going around trying to find who did it. Then Dr. Wanda Strange restrains Jewel, gets her captured, and all the variants go home. And it ends with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones sitting on the rooftops of New York, watching the sunset. And she calls the sunset Morning Blush, which is the name of the lipstick that she chose in the beginning for her wedding.
Cute.
And that's how the comic ends. I really enjoyed it. But I will say, I have chronic liking comic syndrome. I will read any comic and go, oh, I like that. I won't name names, but there is one comic that I hate read. I did not like it. It was in the Krakoa era. I read the first couple issues like, this is not my thing, but I want to finish it because it was like 11, 12 issues. So I read all 11, 12 issues, and then like a couple days later I was like, I like that. Even though I did not like it, I still haven't read the continuation of it. I probably never will. I might for this podcast. If you're not going to
name names, I want to know after the podcast.
It was a Nightcrawler one.
Oh!
It was Way of X. I like it now, and I'm going to reread it for this podcast. I'm going to, later on in a couple of weeks, when Fall of X ends and the Krakoa era kind of starts wrapping up, I'm going to do a big Krakoa review and explain kind of rapidly everything that happened in the Krakoa era, mostly covering major events and like tie-in comics, and get ready for the new X-Men era. Right. Quinn has not read these, so it'll be a good catch-up for her. I will bring up some eventually and just like talk about them. Rogue and Gambit is in the Krakoa era, so I will bring up some when we get to this review. But yeah, I really liked the variants. I'm really excited for Gail Simone's new work.
What is she writing again?
She's writing Uncanny X-Men.
Oh, that one I'm really excited
about. With Rogue and Gambit, which I love. So I'm excited for that. I love Jubilee.
Famously, my dog is Jubilee. That's my dog's name. So
Quinn's name's dog is Jubilee, and my dog's name is Havoc. Legal name Alex Summers.
Are on his government
name. When he's bad, I call him Alex Summers, which is confusing because my husband's name is also Alex, so I'm yelling at both of them at the same time now. I'm excited to see Gail Simone write Uncanny X-Men, and my new favorite thing is seeing what writers do with Jubilee's baby.
Yes. Is she going to be a vampire in this one?
No, she's not a vampire anymore.
Okay.
She has been a vampire for a while. Okay. I think since 2017. The latest, I'll do a quick baby update. Her baby's like a toddler. They went to Otherworld, and the magic of a baby's imagination turned Shogo into a dragon.
Wonderful.
And when he's in Otherworld, he is a dragon. Right. And he's been in Otherworld for a long time, and he has been being raised by Saturnine and Roma. So right now, Jubilee's son is a dragon. So I can't wait to see how Gail Simone writes that.
Great. I have a lot to say about family members in comic books because they only sometimes matter and sometimes count. And half the time they're just like, they're wherever, and no one cares or thinks about it. We'll probably get into it in this one. Because I have some thoughts on being married in comic books and how that happened. So we'll start with Rogue Gambit. This is Rogue Gambit 2023 because there's a bunch of Rogue Gambit.
There's a ton of Rogue Gambit comics.
So this is 2023, written by...
Let me get our title page out.
So Rogue Gambit 2023, written by Stephanie Phillips, artist Carlos Gomez. The color artist is David Curiel with Federico Blee. If I'm butchering anyone's names, I'm so sorry.
With letters by VC's Ariana Maher and designs by Tom Muller and Jay Bowen. It is edited by Sarah Brunstadt, and senior editor is Jordan D. White.
And they did an incredible job.
They did.
Okay, so starting with Rogue and Gambit. I want to give a little tiny bit of backstory. In this, Rogue and Gambit are married. Rogue and Gambit have been married. They're in love, and it's wonderful. They are also the marriage here is, like I said, a comic book marriage where it's kind of like when there's a comic book that is them together, it is a lot of times heavily based on their marriage or whatever marital problems they're having. That kind of is part of it. But whenever they're not in their core comic or like their little comic, like 5-issue page or whatever, they're just kind of like floating around at like separate from each other.
I will say, in Teeny Howard's Excalibur and then later on Knights of X, Rogue and Gambit are in it together as a married couple, and then halfway through Excalibur, Rogue gets voted onto the X-Men team, and both X-Men concurrently and Excalibur, because Gambit stays in Excalibur, is about how they both can still be married but not have the same jobs and have different jobs. And there are scenes in I think both comics where you'll see Gambit go home and Rogue will be doing something at home, or Rogue will come to the treehouse that the X-Men live at, and Gambit is just having a poker night with Black Cat, Rocket Raccoon, and a couple of
I'll have to look at some of that.
You'll have to read them. They're great.
Okay, so we'll start with Rogue and Gambit now. Rogue and Gambit 2023. So it starts off with Gambit drunk in an alleyway, because it should.
As he should.
And he's fighting the Thieves Guild, like he always is. The Thieves Guild. Monsieur. Canceled immediately.
One time he supercharged a train and went choo-choo all aboard the Gambit Express.
That's the worst accent I've ever heard.
You're going to learn through this podcast I cannot do accents, and I will try.
And I'm so excited for it. So Rogue comes in and she's like, great job, asshole. Pretty much. cut to Lady Deathstrike.
Yes, my queen.
Who has the crazy... Her mutant powers is having long nails.
She's not even a mutant.
Okay.
She is a genetic experiment who was created, who wanted to get revenge on Wolverine and wanted to kill Wolverine. And so she went to my queen, my Lord and Savior, Spiral, Mojo World Goddess, who gave her the Razor Claws. And while she was giving her the Razor Claws, she was like, if I don't like this, you can, when I'm done and I don't want this anymore and I don't like it, can you reverse it?
You can reverse it, right?
And...
You can reverse it, right?
And Spiral's like satisfaction guaranteed, honey. Like, you're gonna love this.
Okay.
And we see... Sorry, I love this. We see, Lady Deathstrike constantly in Spiral's body shop. Like, we'll have other characters go to Spiral, and you'll just see Lady Deathstrike's head, and then titties, and other body parts
it's
on the table.
Titties.
On the table, just getting worked on, getting her nails did.
Perfect.
It's great. I love Spiral.
So, Lady Deathstrike is being transported, but somebody kidnaps her. We don't see yet. This comic book has that kind of motif where in the beginning of each issue, they have them, like, texting different people, which I always think is simultaneously very funny and also very stupid. So it starts with Rogue and Gambit texting each other about, like, a date. That's fun. So they're hanging in their house. He has a hangover. They're having marital issues. They're about to fight. And teleporting into their house is Rogue's mother.
She's not teleporting.
Destiny.
She's just hiding there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she can't teleport. She's just hiding in the house.
Oh my God, I didn't think that they don't really show it.
Yeah, they don't realize that she's there, but she's probably been there for like an hour. She's probably, because they just got in, she's probably been hiding in a corner somewhere going, I can't wait to ruin these people's marriage.
Exactly. They fucking hate her so Rogue has two adoptive moms, if people don't know, and it's Destiny and Mystique.
Lesbian icons.
And
they're actually doing...
They hate their daughter's husband. They fucking hate it. They're like, this fucking...
Half the time they hate their children. Like, there's a comic where...
Like, I adopted my daughter to be evil and now she's an X-Men.
There's a comic where Rogue puts Mystique on her X-Men team, and Mystique betrays her. And teams up with some bad guys, and one of the bad guys pulls a gun on Rogue, and Mystique is like, no, we don't do this. Nobody shoots my daughter. And then she grabs the gun and goes, nobody but me, and shoots right a window.
Incredible. Yeah, that's honestly icons. So in this, Destiny's like, I have a vision, and bad shit's gonna happen, and you have to kidnap Manifold, who's a teleporter. And Rogue's kind of like, okay. And Gambit's like, wait, that's so vague and crazy. And she's like, sure, it's my mom. And he's like, yeah, you're evil, Mom. And she's like, we're going to do it. And he's like, well, I love my wife.
To be fair, Destiny is rarely wrong. She has a ton of... she's also a prankster. In one comic, she realizes she's going to die. And so she writes this big list for Mystique that Mystique finds after Destiny dies. And Destiny later gets resurrected on Krakoa. But Destiny dies in like the 80s. And Destiny writes this letter to Mystique and is like, hey, scatter my ashes on this cruise ship at this time. And Mystique's really sad. And Mystique does exactly what she says, and throws her ashes off the cruise ship. And right when she does it, a big gust of wind comes and blows the ashes right in Mystique's face. And Mystique is like, you fucking bitch, Destiny. You fucking piece of shit. I miss you.
Aww.
It's really cute, that prankster Destiny. Also...
We can't get too sidetracked every time we talk about her.
I got to.
Okay.
So, Destiny is this snatched woman in a leotard and like a swimsuit with a big cape and a big gold mask because she's blind. She doesn't need to see. She just uses her visions to walk around. But in the 80s, she looked like that still. In the new comics, she's about 50. In the old comics, she was like 120. And she still looked like Snatched. And she had no varicose veins, nothing. Stunting on him with those legs.
That's how I
And she took off her mask and would be like a skeleton woman.
I fucking love that.
But like,
Never
you couldn't tell. Yeah, you couldn't tell without the mask on.
Okay, so I'm gonna get back to it.
Yeah, we'll kind of rapid succession.
I'm gonna try to get
yeah.
this quickly. So, they go to Manifold and they're like, "We need to kidnap you," pretty much. And he's like, "That's stupid. No." And Gambit's like, "Yeah, I agree. No." And Rogue's like, "Well, we have to." And he's like, "Look, first help me with this thing. People with superpowers are being taken, and we should go and check that out." And they're like, "Fine, sounds good." And he's like, "First, Lady Deathstrike." And this is a scene that made me feel absolutely insane. So, whoever stole Lady Deathstrike or kidnapped her has her kind of like tied up in a bag over her head, and he's selling her to somebody, to like some billionaire.
A bad guy who's been there for a while.
Yeah. And the guy literally says, "I want to see what I'm paying for." Dude, her fucking sharp claws are right in his face. Like, you can see her big, sharp, like, pussy nails, like, crazy nails, that are, like, Deathstrike nails, and they take the bag off her head, like, that's supposed to show me fucking anything.
That could be anyone.
That could be anyone under that. I need to see her face.
Those are claws. Oh, shit, Lady Deathstrike's claws.
Yeah, those are claws. That's
egg on my face.
This was Lady
that could have
Deathstrike.
been Wolverine with...
But it could be anybody.
That could have been Logan with some breast augmentation, thanks to Carlos Gomez, who draws all these women with the biggest...
This is the dooziest comic book I've ever seen.
Tangle bitties.
But this is a very good
Tangle bitties. I love it. Great. All the women are snatched. All the men have abs.
It's a very booby comic book. But yeah, you can clearly see, like, Lady Deathstrike crazy hands. And he's like, "Let me double check this," which I just thought was insane. So they try to fight him, but they get just completely
They get shot with a no-no gun.
Yeah, they get shot with a gun that takes away their powers. And before all their powers are gone, Manifold, who's a teleporter, is like, "Get the fuck out of here." And he teleports Rogue and Gambit away, which is very good of him. Very nice of him.
Yes.
They are... that's the end of episode...
Issue 1.
I have issues. Issue 1.
I have episodes.
It's so fucking stupid. Great one, Sheila.
Thanks, Karen.
Dropping off the kids at school on Friday? Okay.
Not with this bottle of wine.
So issue 2. Rogue and Gambit are wandering through the desert, and Gambit starts like throwing cards, and he's like, "Well, I don't have my powers." And they're a little slow on the draw, because my mind immediately, I was like, they don't have any powers. That means it's bone o'clock. It's bone time. Ever since, like, whenever Rogue and Gambit became, like, a thing, whenever they don't have powers, that it's immediately fuck time. Like, it is immediately on every single time. But I will say these newer comics want to have it both ways, because after a while, they made it so that Rogue and Gambit can actually touch, where he's like, I think it's with his powers, like the kinetic energy is kind of like a condom. It's kind of like a body condom, so he can touch her, and they can touch each other, so they are always kissing. And I kind of feel like the comics want it both ways, because whenever they don't have powers, they do this big, like, thing where they, like, grab each other and are kissing.
I'm pretty sure now Rogue can choose when she wants to do her Killy Drain powers, but she has to really focus on it. It's very hard for her.
Yeah.
I know.
They definitely have some stuff around it.
Yeah.
But it is really sweet when they get to touch each other. Well, that was what I was thinking. I was like, okay, if it is like a body count situation, and they do go crazy when they don't have their powers and they can like really get it on? Is it just because it's like it feels different? Like how
every time I come, I die a little. But now that your powers are gone, I don't.
I don't die a little.
I don't give you some new life and then lose some of mine.
Does it feel better? Like in the real world.
Ribbed for her pleasure, but with magical powers.
With kinetic energy. But it's like, it doesn't feel as good. They're like, I want a raw dog today. I went to this island that took away my powers so we can raw dog it. Because I think, like, the comics want it to feel so special when they don't have their powers, but they still want to show them, like, kissing and being happy, like, when they do have their powers. But yeah, they don't have their powers, and they're like, oh, we don't have our powers. It's stuck time in the middle of this desert, and it's really sweet. It is cute. They end up going to this little bar in the middle of Las Vegas, and they're actually not bigots for the first time ever. Like, the people are like, you guys saved the planet. Like, you're so cool, we love you. And it's like, okay, finally it's making some fucking sense. And they're just getting the fucking down with these people, and it looks like they're having fun for the first time in a long time. It's really sweet. It's really good. It's super cute. They're dancing. Their marriage is getting back on track. Fuck Manifold, fuck Destiny. They're having a good-ass time, and that's all that matters. Except Black Panther shows up because Manifold is missing, and they think that Gambit and Rogue kidnapped him per Destiny's request, which, again, they are trying to do, but in this case, they did not do. And instead of, like, talking to him and being like, oh, he actually got kidnapped by this other guy, we should probably all three of us go to save him together, they're like, let's fight him. In fact, not only let's fight him, to get away, Gambit finds this lady in, like, the kitchen, and he ties her ass to a fucking, like,
a lit
oven,
stove, yeah.
like a lit stove, and, like, fucking sets that shit on fire. And Rogue's like, that was fucked up, and he's like, yeah, it was. Because you still have to like him. You still have to write it that he's not like a complete fucking maniac asshole.
They're driving away, and he's like, Black Panther probably got her out.
Yeah, and he's like looking back, and he's like, he got her. She's safe. He got her. Like we're like, okay, see, they're not making him like a complete asshole.
Like, those people weren't mutant-hating bigots.
Now
they probably are now.
Now they definitely are. With good reason, too, honestly. Yeah, and then they go to Forge because he has. What the fuck does he have again?
Okay, this is the craziest thing.
Because it was like a weird shit.
So Forge went to save this mutant. I forgot his name. The ever-evolving boy. What's his name? Oh, fuck if I remember.
It doesn't matter, honestly.
He went to save this mutant, and he went to save this mutant and forge his mutant abilities. He can create anything that he sets his mind to. So he uses mutant DNA and he makes a Caliban suit, which is basically just a suit made of a skin suit with Caliban's face grafted onto it. And Caliban's a tracking mutant, and he uses the Caliban suit to track mutants. And Darwin is the mutant he's looking for.
Oh, got it.
So,
the unkillable man that they killed in the movie.
Yes, the unkillable man that they killed in the movies. And he destroys the suit, and because he feels really bad about it. And he didn't tell anybody about the suit, but Destiny, snitch as she is, had a vision about it and told Rogue. And Rogue's like, I know about your tracking suit. And Forge is like, I destroyed that shit. And she's like, really, bitch?
Yeah, so now we're on issue 3. Issue 3 starts with Mystique and Destiny just kind of being like, hi, wifey. Is our daughter doing well? And they're like, don't know. Again, I hate her husband. We get more text. We have, throughout the comic, we have a text between... They're so funny, too, because they are legitimately, like, so stupid. And one is Rogue texting Rocket Raccoon for relationship advice, which is honestly, arguably, the last person I would ever ask for relationship advice from. The talking raccoon. That's fucking insane. And he also was like, I don't want to talk to you about this. And she's like, you have to, which is crazy. And they play that off as a joke. And then the second one is that I love as well. That gets my theory going of how, like, they definitely, like, can touch, but it's like a weird calm situation. Because Storm then is texting Gambit at one point in this little comic book where they do the little text things. And she's like, we must talk about your marriage to Rogue and your failing marriage. And he's like, I don't want to, because he hides from his feelings. That's his problem. And she's like, we have to. And he's like, I just want to have sex all the time.
They're both kind of like that, because everyone's like, you should talk to Rogue or Gambit. And Rogue and Gambit's like, well, we fuck.
Yeah, right. So it's fine. Our marriage is fine.
Yeah, we're fucking. You're good.
We're good. They really do love each other. It's great. It's so sweet. Okay, so Gambit is kind of, in this sports situation, he's kind of playing up that he's like a fuck up idiot. Because he's like fucking with shit. And he ends up fucking with these marbles that explode everywhere. And they leave for just like, get the fuck out of my house. And Rogue is like, Remy, you a fuck up piece of shit. And he's like, just kidding. I'm not a fuck up piece of shit. I did this on purpose because he was lying to you. He had this little piece of the machine that you want. So I got it for you. That's why I exploded the thing, so I could find it and give it to you. And this part too, he's like, I think, well, actually, wait. First, we get a flashback between Rogue and Gambit, where she ran away, and he goes to her, and he kind of confesses. This is like their big confession of love, and where she's kind of like, we shouldn't really be together, or we should kind of stay apart. And he's like, I love you so much. And he says this crazy fucking thing where he's like, I will hurt you, I will betray you, I will do all this stuff, but I will never leave you no matter how hard anything gets. Which is like one of those like rom-com, like, oh my god, that's so sweet and wonderful, but when you think about it for 2 seconds, you're like, whoa. And so we have that flashback, and then after that flashback, when it comes back to now time, they are fighting, and Gambit does fucking leave. He's like, hey, like, finish whatever mission you want to do that your mom sent you on, and I'm gonna fucking dip out. I'll see you at home. I'm feeding the cats. He doesn't stand up, but they do have cats.
They do have some cats.
So he leaves, he gives her the thing, he does kiss her on the forehead, which is really cute. That's her problem, is it's kind of, like, any comic book couples are kind of in, like, terrible relationships, but my little, like, fucking rat brain is like, oh my god, they're so cute and sweet. He kissed her on the forehead? That is so cute and sweet. Oh my god, OTP, they are meant for each other. Anytime that I see Gambit and Rogue being slightly cute, I am immediately 17-year-olds again. I'm immediately a child, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. They're so cute. Especially when they play on the, oh, we can't touch, but they're in love. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Put it in my veins. So he leaves. She goes and finds Manifold. Everybody who has been kidnapped by this guy, kind of power broker, who did this to them, everybody who's kidnapped by him has this little chip in their neck that is making them, that's like controlling them. They can talk and speak however they want, but they are being controlled by Power Broker. Rogue takes a chip out of one of their necks and just fucking kills him. She fucking kills him. And instead of like so shocked and horrified, she's just kind of like, oh no. Oops, I should have done that.
Yeah, so Power Broker has Vanisher, Juggernaut, Deathstrike, Manifold, Absorbing Man, and Electro. And they're fighting, and Rogue's like, I don't know how to stop this, and plucks the little inhibitor off of Vanisher's neck, and Vanisher goes,
yeah, she fucking kills
and
him
bites
so
it.
hard. And
It's
again,
so
she's
good.
kind of like, oops, did I do that? Like, she really, like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. That sucked. And then, we go to issue 5. During that fight, she gets an inhibitor chip in her neck, And so that's not good. So the beginning of 5, there is a kind of like sellers auction kind of thing where Power Broker has all of the like high end bad guys, like millionaire billionaires. Elon Musk is there. He has them watching this two two people fighting each other, and he's like, look, I can control them. I can just make this guy beat the shit out of the other one, and the other one's not going to do anything about it because I can do that.
Put some respect on Juggernaut and Crusher Creel's names. Crusher Creel is married to Titania, She-Hulk's enemy turned reluctant friend who does fight clubs with her.
That's fun. So they're there, and they're fighting, and he's like, by them. And Gambit shows up to save Rogue, his wife. His wife, they're in love. She has a little inhibitor thing on her neck, and he's kind of like, "Mon cher, I'm sorry, I left for 5 seconds." Sorry, I left for 5 seconds. I should have done that. I love you so much, wifey. They do call each other hubby and wifey, which is so insane to think that they do this, or at least they're referred to in the comic book as hubby and wifey, which is crazy. She's like, "Oh no, Rami, I'm gonna kill you because I have this never caller." And he's like, he does that whole thing that's like, "You're stronger than this, and we can get through it." And she just like starts beating the absolute ever-living shit out of him, and he's like, "Don't worry, you can fight it." And she does. Power Broker starts fucking off, running away. They get to him. They fight him. He's a little pussy bitch about it. Gambit's hot as always. Hottest X-Men, hottest comic book character. Rogue has huge titties in this whole thing. And just looking for my notes.
Quinn's notes is just the comic book on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
She didn't write notes. She's just reading the comic.
They're here. I figured this would be easier though.
That is true.
So, there is a really cute page of like all of their love together, and that's Gambit kind of pleading with her that she can fight him, and she's like trying to fight. She fights Power Broker. Their power of love is stronger. This is what saves their marriage. This is what saves their marriage is power of love. They beat the shit out of Power Broker. They're like, we're in love. We're gonna fuck right here, pretty much, which is crazy. But good on them. And then Power Broker's like, no, I'm still here. I'm gonna fucking get you. And they're like, really? You're still here? They defeat him. Easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. Lady Deathstrike comes. All the bad guys come. They get a little inhibitor like remote, and they like stop them from being controlled. So they beat the shit out of Power Broker. They go back home. Well, actually, first, this shit's crazy. Destiny comes and they have Manifold, and they use the little fucking control chip on only Manifold to like hide him away in like a little like coffin under some water.
Yep.
So like they do kidnap this man.
Yep.
And they're just like, cool, another job well done, awesome. And I think she's lying to Gambit about this. She doesn't tell him. He does not know that they stole a man.
Later in the other comics, you find out he does know about
it. Okay, cool. But then they're back home, and she's like, hey, get this chip out of my head. And he's like, but it will kill you. And she's like, I trust you. Crazy. So he uses little powers and gets it off with any issue at all. And she does not die. Nobody dies. They're fine. And then the end of the comic is them just making out on their floor, on their kitchen floor. Just beautiful. That's love, baby. That's romance.
The end of the comic is a recipe for gumbo.
Oh, true.
Which we will be making for the TikTok.
Yeah. Please.
I'm allergic to shrimp, but we will be making a gumbo without shrimp.
I'm going to be putting shrimp in it and poisoning Connor.
Hell yeah. This first podcast is also Connor's last.
Connor's last. So please join us whenever we make that jump go on the podcast. I think that's a wonderful idea. On the TikTok. Okay, so last thoughts on Rogue and Gambit.
I really liked it.
Comic book couple. They're really cute. This one's one of those fun ones.
Yes, this was a fun little romp. Also, for our visual viewers, this is my dog Havoc, our little ex-pup. Full government name, Alex Summers. He lives up to his name. Right now he's being very chill.
He's been actually eating a tape dispenser this entire time.
Good.
Let him. Are we going to post this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I would have, looked nicer.
No.
Thanks for the warning.
This is all natural. Yeah, this is going on TikTok, YouTube. You can watch it on Spotify, all of that. Any final thoughts? Listeners, if you have any comics that you would like us to review, and do a recap about, please let us know. We are on
TikTok?
Twitter or X, TikTok, and Facebook.
Okay, tell them our handle.
Yeah, let me get those. Sorry. I'm pretty sure it is Comics Connect Pod. Shut up. Yeah, so we are Comic Connect Pod on X and TikTok, and we are Comic Connection Podcast on Facebook. Those will be linked in the show notes and descriptions of this podcast.
Yeah, so I hope you join us next week. Do you know what we're doing next week?
We are either doing...
Or is it a surprise?
I don't think we've actually decided yet.
Okay.
We are either going to be covering another author spotlight on the X series of Eve Ewing, talking about Monica Rambeau Photon.
Okay.
A fun fact is Gail Simone and Eve Ewing are the first women to be writing a mainstay X-Men book. This is a book that's just titled X-Men, coming out as one of the headlining comics. There are three this go around, but still, I like to count that they are the first women to be writing an actual mainstay X-Men book. Eve Ewing being the first black woman, which is awesome.
And it only took to 2024.
It took them 50 years.
And that is so little time. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. You really got
Stanley only had to invent them and die before a black woman could write
an X-Men comic.
a main title X book.
Not only write them and die, be dead for a little bit. Substantial time. And we're not saying it was his. He was definitely not his.
Oh no, he was down with the blacks.
That was a crazy way to
I'm probably gonna cut that.
Canceled episode 1. Cut the podcast.
He would have said it.
Yeah, because he was born in the fucking 1920s or whatever. He was born in 1996. I was born. End the podcast. We're so fucked.
We are not twins, everybody. Alright, that will do it for this week's Comics Connection.
The very first in the books. I hope everybody loved this. A complete wreck of a show.
Yes.
Please join the Hot Mess Express next week.
Yes, if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations, please
subscribe,
let us know.
Leave 5 stars on.
Yeah, 5 stars on Apple. I think Spotify has pluses, minuses. Whatever, rate us good. Rate us bad.
Don't rate us bad. Don't rate us bad.
Review me, Daddy. All right. Thank you, and have a good night.
Have a good night.